we get down. When I'm in Virginia, I'm always messing with Miss Hollywood 313 and Session 420. You know what I'm saying? It's going down every time I'm in Virginia. Y'all need to follow my people. Miss Hollywood 313 and Session 420. Pata.
Is it me or is it hot in here? You got it. Is it me or is it hot in here? SoHollywood, 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 Hello, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to get ignorant. The Hollywood lights are bright, let's get right for a little bit. The vibe's so low, so let's go and bump it a little bit. Let's celebrate life like it's gonna end in a little bit. Hit the bottom, a little twist, and mix it with some of this. And mix it with Hollywood, and you're far from monotonous. Imagine the gas can't produce more hotness than this hip-hop pompous and female accomplice. Hey, SoHollywood, 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 Is it me or is it hot in here? Is it me or is it hot in here?
But they like to call me who, Miss Hollywood. You're tuned into another episode of SoHollywood the podcast. SoHollywood the podcast platform where everyone is treated equally, and I bring them together with this thing called entertainment. As long as you have some form of entertainment in your life, that's all that matters when it comes to bringing people together and bringing you on one platform. Sorry, y'all, I'm fixing the light. But as you guys know, and if you don't know, I got a little upgrade. I got some new electrical things and some new gadgets and gadgets and so on and so forth. So you're gonna see me moving around and getting used to my new microphone, and just bear with me because, like I said, this is a new situation. Come on now, you're not letting me be great. Anyway, shout out to everybody that's tuned in across the board. We got them on Instagram. I'm sorry, not Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. Oh man, we got it popping out here in these things. But as you guys know, I like to do a recap. And the recap I have for today is I had my first unboxing for my channels and everywhere across the board by the name of Popcorn World. If you guys don't know about Popcorn World, you guys have to get to know Popcorn World because it's a black-owned business. It has over 480 flavors, and that is not including your vegan options. Um, they're available on Instagram. It is popcorn underscore world underscore. So make sure you guys go and you guys purchase it and go and check out the latest episode of the podcast. It is here on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, and yeah, and go to www.allofhollywood.biz. Um, yeah, we just currently just waiting on the homie to get into the live. I have a special guest today. I'm not gonna tell you who he is. All of my guests are special, and we just gonna wait till he pulls up. But until then, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel as well as across the board. Follow me on all streaming platforms. On Instagram, MISS Hollywood 313. Don't forget to follow the podcast, SoHollywood the podcast. We got my guest in here. Shout out to you. I'm gonna pull you up here in just a second. But yes, I did an unboxing, and it's some dope gourmet popcorn, black owned business based out of Indiana. So if you guys are not tuned in, make sure you guys get y'all popcorn. Tell them I sent you, Hollywood sent you. Maybe they'll give you something off. But anyways, without further ado, I need to get my drum rolls together. Without further ado, I would like to bring up my special guest. He is a tour DJ for I don't man, don't even get me to line on the name because I be fucking up on on the names. But we're gonna bring him up here. He is a tour DJ for Burner, and he is a part of the other guys, and he is a cookies representative and a cannabis connoisseur, and I love that. And he has something called the Best Closer in the game, and he's a New York born but Atlanta brethren, and he goes by the name of DJ Teflon. We're gonna bring him up on the screen. How you doing?
I'm well in yourself.
I'm blessed and highly favored. You know how it go. Can you tell me how to say that name? Because I be fucking up all the way.
Teflon. Like I just spelt it differently so I can own it.
Oh, so you because it isn't it some another DJ if I'm not mistaken?
I mean, it's it's just a common term. Like there is a Teflon in Miami, but he spells it the regular way. And I'm pretty sure there's some that came behind me, but before I had it, no one owned Teflon spelled that way. So
Okay, talk that shit. Talk that
I,
shit.
I wanted my paperwork to be straight.
I know that's right. It's very important to have your paperwork straight. We're going to get into that as well. But let's get into the interview with this question. How did this thing called entertainment enter your life?
How did this thing called entertainment enter my life?
Yes.
Um, through my homeboy Flavor. I had a I had a good job out of high school. I'm doing collections for Sears Credit, and I just used to go party on the weekend. Matter of fact, I didn't even party on the weekend. I partied every night of the week. And
Mhm.
my homeboy, he was working for So So Def, and some promoters from Atlanta called Cloud Nine was just starting, and he started working for them. And I got fired. Okay, Sears closed. I got another job, and I got fired from that, and it was like two back to back. I was
Right.
like, you know what? I'm gonna try something different.
Right.
And I started doing. I was on the street team. I did flyers. Like DJing came way later,
Okay. Okay. Mm, 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 mm.
but I did street team, and like for me, with anything, you got to start at the bottom. So street team, because like I'm doing street team, and I'm 25, 26 years old, just leaving a job I made $60,000 a year at,
Wow.
and
So, in a sense, did that humble you?
it humbled me. But like when I first started that collection job at 19, I was making $8 an hour.
Mm,
So every you have to start somewhere, everywhere. So this
right.
was me starting somewhere.
Right.
So that like at every job you got to start entry level.
Right.
This was me starting entry level. So like no matter how old I was or what I had going on elsewhere, I was moving into a new field. So
Right.
I started at the bottom.
Wow. And now you're here. So you started with doing street team and guerrilla marketing. So a lot of people don't know what that term is anymore because it's not even used in this state of
True.
culture. So that's where you also had like the guerrilla marketing, learning all the business side of just being you know
In the
carrying crates
entertainment
and
world,
being in, yeah.
like I met most of the DJs I knew because I worked for a promotion company, so I knew most of the DJs. Like for example, I met Don Cannon there. This
Wow.
was doing records. Don Cannon pulls up to work. I'm standing outside. Of course, I'm gonna help him bring his records inside.
Of course.
But this is where the relationships started at. Like just knowing the promoters, knowing how to do flyers so I could promote myself, knowing how to promote myself once I got started. And like when you're known for being responsible, people trust you in other areas.
Right.
I used to run the street team. Like let's say for instance, all the promoters here had a event in All Star
Right.
or Super Bowl. Me and my street team is sliding flyers under the door.
Right.
Like what I went so hard at street team where when I moved into other things, it was like, okay, I can count on him for this. He won't take on this responsibility if he's not ready. So just being a man of my word started with me running the street team.
And so that's when you were in Atlanta because you were born in New York, correct?
I was born in New York. I moved to Atlanta 95, 96, my 11th grade of high school.
Okay.
So none like this all started here.
Okay. Understood. Understood. So did you know of did you know that you wanted to be a DJ or any parts of the entertainment industry or entertainment world prior to doing that? Because I know you said you were doing Sears, but like, you have to have some type of other form of income,
No,
like multiple
no,
streams of
like
income.
I'm 19. I started at Sears at 19. By the time I left at 25, 26, I'm making $60,000 a year living at home. I didn't have aspirations of doing shit else. I had a good living.
Oh, right, right,
You 60,000, and you got to also. This is almost 20 years ago.
right,
So $60,000 is a lot of money back. It's still a lot of money now. So it's a lot of money back then. And
right,
again, I'm still living at home. So, I came from the era of you went to college or got a good ass job. That
right.
was my good ass job.
Right. And then you just decided to switch it over and go into this thing called entertainment, in which like you said, you help like from the ground up. And so within that time, what else did you learn, and what was the entertainment scene like during that portion of your life?
Um, like from that, I learned how to do flyers. For example,
Okay.
this is at the time where a graphic artist got 125 per design. Because this
Wow.
is when you had to do front and back of a flyer.
Right,
So
right,
most party promoters paid anywhere between 150 and $100 per design.
right,
And everybody needed flyers because this is also prior to social media. So the only way to acquire new people was to actually tangibly put something in your hand. So from like starting that street team, I'm working for a company and we don't have an in-house flyer person. There's always a delay in getting your flyers. You're always upset that it's taking so long. So
right,
I started teaching myself how to do flyers because now I want to be your in-house flyer person. You don't have to outsource that to no one else.
right.
Let me do that for you. So that's actually how DJ kind of got started too.
Wow. What? That's even crazy. So once you started to do the graphic portion, did you learn to do anything else outside of that? And then when did the DJing come along?
um, I was just mastering that. Like from that, I learned that more than party people need flyers.
Right, okay.
Businesses need flyers. So like I had turned flyers into a full grown company. I called myself the flyer dude, ATL. Like because also if you needed flyers printed, most people didn't know where to get flyers printed from.
Right.
And if you print enough with a printer, I know now I'm ordering off a page so I can get XYZ amount of flyers on this page and I'm paying wholesale rate and charging you retail rate. So like off a flyer design for Joe Blow's tax service, I might make 250.
Right. Right.
You do that 10, 20 times a week, you making decent money.
Right.
So
Now, were
like
you
from
still doing the promotion side as well, or
I'm still
okay,
doing
so
flyers
you
for
still
for promote.
Uh-oh. Your audio went out. I be hating when people trying to call you and you be on live or somewhere. You be like, God damn, it's all good. He'll be back, y'all. But until then, make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel as well as my Twitch, Facebook, Instagram, and he's back. Give me a second, y'all. And voila magic. Can you hear me? Uh-oh.
Hello?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Oh, now it's sounding.
The sound is bad. Uh-oh. You might have to leave and come back. Shout out to everybody that is tuned in and that is watching across the board. Follow me on Instagram, MISS Hollywood 313. Follow DJ TEPHLON. Let me put that up on the screen. Follow my guests. And make sure you guys follow Popcorn World and let them know that I sent you. It is gourmet popcorn. Yes, and yes. You guys will love it. Like it's really, really dope. So give me just a second. Gonna pull him back up here. You good?
Yeah, my phone had ring. My
Oh,
bad.
that's that no, you're fine. So we were talking about simultaneously doing both at the same time.
Yeah, like I just did other. I promoted to businesses because I learned from just doing flyers from company for party people that other people needed flyers. So
Right.
it was another. It was a way to stay in promotions and still make me business elsewhere.
Right, right, right. So how soon did the DJing come to fruition for you?
Shit.
'Cause
DJ probably
I read
came.
in 2008 your first real presentation to the world was at the BET Hip Hop Awards weekend.
So let's say I left my last job in 02, 03. That like it was 5 years of doing promotions. Like,
Mm,
because even better, it took a year, maybe a year and a half to learn that I need to do flyers next and not be on the street team.
okay.
And then I did street team. I mean, I did flyers for a while, and then from there, Cloud9 closed, and I got with my homeboy Felix, who at the time it was called Dreams ATL. So I'm pretty much doing the same thing there. And they was open a year or two before I really was like, you know what, I want to do this. Like I
Mm,
always thought DJing was cool. Don't get me wrong, like DJing, I always thought it was a cool thing, but I never ever thought I'd be one.
right, right. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, we lost him again. It's all good because that's how things work sometimes. But shout out to DJ Teflon. He will be back here shortly. I apologize for any of the inconvenience that is happening, but make sure you guys follow us on Instagram and follow Session 420. Oh, also one last thing. I have a new segment and it's called So Hollywood the podcast presents The Green Room. The Green Room is the opportunity and the platform where artists and entertainers, if you read audiobooks, if you have a product or if you have something that that you want to get out there, I have the outlet for you and I have the area for you. It's located in Virginia, so make sure you guys stay locked and stay tuned. But the first performance that I had, his name was GMF Big Peso. He is a Portsmouth native, and make sure you guys look at that because it is a dope video. It's dope content. Everything that I bring you is all straight from the heart, straight from organic and straight, just straight screaming, so to speak. And shout out to Roadcaster, Road Products, all of their Road products I have. And they will be a future sponsor of mine. I am going to speak that into existence. If you want to advertise here, you can do that as well. Yesterday was my birthday, so shout out to me, Scorpio season, 38th at birthday, actually. Let me get that together. And shout out to everybody that is tuned in across the board: Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter. If you are in the chat, make sure you guys put your podcast microphones in the chat so I know you guys fuck with me, fuck with me, fuck with me. Also, what is the other thing is, follow the podcast, So Hollywood the podcast on Instagram. Follow me, MISS Hollywood 313. Follow Session 420, which is the area that I do most of my in studio, if not all of my studio situations, pulling up on my computer or iPad. All right, DJ Teflon needs me. So you guys give me just one moment as I get this gentleman back on the screen, baby. Whoa, yeah. So in the meantime, in between time, I'm going to let you guys listen to Peso, Big Pesos, um Big Peso. He has a song based out of Virginia. So bear with me, guys. I'm trying to get DJ Teflon back up here. For whatever reason, internet will not let us be great. You know how you try to be great at certain things and you wish that everything worked out. Look, everything worked out in your favor. However, that's not the case. But it's it is what it is, and we gonna get him back up here in just a second. But hold on, y'all. Bear with me, and I'm gonna play y'all the track. It's called "Dunked on Them," "Dunk on Them," and it's by GMF Big Peso. Everybody, clap your hands. Yeah. Who we got tuned in here today? We got some folks tuned in here today. Put the what is it? The podcast emoji in the chat if you're tuned in today. Make sure you guys tune in daily because your girl does have shows. So this is GMF Big Peso on So Hollywood the podcast, baby. Yeah. Until we get DJ TEPHLON back in the building.
Niggas gonna give it respect. Oh, we gonna be mobbing. I was gonna aim for his chest, but I hit that boy in his noggin. You put
Hey, we gonna bring him back up here.
You know I ain't with all that arguing. Hey. I hit your bitch from the back. Hey. Made her say that you was sorry. I heard they mad that I don't know them, but it won't.
All right, and we back to the regularly scheduled program. Sorry for that, guys. All right, DJ TEPHLON, light it up, light it up. What did
My bad. I'm just having a terrible technology day, it seems like.
It happens when you want to do something important, and when you're speaking greatness, these things normally happen. So it's all good, it's all good. And where were we? We were talking about leaving one job, leaving the
Cloud9 going to Dreams.
Yes, there you go. Boom.
So I'm working for a club. My homeboy owns a club. Matter of fact, the owner of Gas House, the weed brand Gas House.
Okay. Shout out to Gas House.
He owns this club. This is pre-Gas House.
Okay, gotcha. Boom.
He owns this club. It's called Dreams ATL. It's one of the popping spots in Atlanta. And in any profession, it's politics. So he opens up a club and he's not getting the DJs he wants because other club promoters are playing politics. Like in any profession, making it where, say for instance, if you DJ for me, you can't DJ over there. Playing those kind of political games. So for maybe the first year and a half, maybe they were getting good DJs, but they wasn't getting the good DJ that they wanted.
Right.
So boom, light bulb. Not necessarily settling, but if A, B, and C are not available, D's D for a reason. So it's not. I guess it is kind of settling, but I don't want to talk bad. Like
no, it's okay.
They were getting the job done. So
yes, okay.
So at this point, now the light bulb goes on in my head. Here's another option or another opening for me because the company I work for can't get what they want, and I can learn how to do this.
Okay.
So that's where me starting the DJ came from.
Wow. And what was your influence behind it? Like, I know you were around people that did it and so on and so forth. How did you, what was your first step into becoming a DJ?
My first step into becoming a DJ, because I had a nice little iTunes collection. This is still this is as CDs are still in. This is when CDJs first started. This is right as the tool that we use called Serato as DJs just got started.
Yes.
So one of my passions was buying a new album, downloading it to my iTunes. I had a mean iPod. Back when we had the portable, I had a mean one.
Yeah.
So And even better, that was a little side hustle because all the street niggas used to pay me to upload their iPod.
That was a hustle. That
Load
was
me up. I give you $500. Load me up. I give you $250. Load me up. I got mixtapes, albums. Like this is my collection I've been working on for years. That's on my computer.
right.
Like so, my first step when I really decided to do this was I YouTubed how to hook up Serato.
Okay.
I felt like I at least before I asked for any help, I had to be able to get started.
Right.
So this is when YouTube University was just, it ain't as used as much as we did, but like as it is now. You can like this is when people were first finding out you can find out everything on
On
YouTube.
YouTube. Right. 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 Okay.
So I YouTubed how to hook it up, and I fucked with the equipment in the club for about a month before I asked for help.
Wow.
I had to bump my head against the wall, like, in asking you a question, I had to know what I'm talking about.
Right. Right. You had
Like,
to learn the terminology and the
or at
RCA.
least be able to explain what I'm doing. Like one thing people who ask professionals to teach them how to do something is you don't talk the same lingo. You hadn't did it to understand, so you kind of turn people off early by not knowing what you're talking about.
Right.
So
Right.
before I got help, I just wanted to know the basis. I already had a nice collection of music, even though like getting better in the DJing, like I had albums, which
Mm.
gave me good songs, but I didn't have no clean versions.
Mm. Okay.
Because who wants clean versions when you're buying CDs? Who wants clean version?
Right. Right.
So like I had a great selection or collection of music, but I still didn't have DJ ready material.
Right. But you were still getting ready to become
Yeah,
a DJ. And so once you figured that part out as far as like you didn't have the edited version, what did you do to push forward? And then also when do you remember your first DJ gig?
my first DJ gig is that party you're talking about.
Okay. Okay.
No bullshit. It's BET Weekend 2008. Fly from TIG Records.
Okay.
This is pre TIG Records. Fly was turning 25. That BET Weekend was his birthday, his 25th birthday party. He booked Lil Wayne, and this is when Ti first got out of jail.
Okay. Okay.
The party was so big that the club Dreams they um they got a tent on the outside,
Uh-huh.
and so now this tent needs a DJ.
So they called
I'm
you.
not taking. I'm not. No, I'm not. Like I remember in asking because I never want anybody's job. I never wanted nobody's job.
Right. Right.
This was an extra job that didn't interfere with no one else's job, so I asked for that job.
Gotcha.
And
Gotcha.
Fly has seen me practicing. Because by this time I've been practicing every day at the club 6 to 8 months. I would
Okay.
go to the club, do my work, start practicing. Go to the club, do my work, start practicing.
Right.
So he had seen me fucking around with it for a solid 8 months.
Right.
And he was like, cool, just don't play a whole bunch of reggae. And if you're into music, reggae has rhythms.
Yes.
Like just learning how to mix in and out the rhythms. I used to, because it's like 18 songs that's on the same beat. I
Right.
used to DJ reggae to learn how to blend or mix, like just to learn how to get in and out songs at the right spot. So I
Right.
might play reggae at the club for 2 hours, and niggas like, yo, fam, cut it out. But again, all the songs have the same beat. So I might play one song that has a beat for 20 minutes, but it's 5 different songs. So when his joke was, "Yo, fam, just don't play reggae all
Right.
night," and so that was my first job.
Wow.
BET Weekend, Lil
And did
Wayne, Ti.
you had all your equipment, you had everything, or did you have to like how did you gather that?
The club had equipment,
Okay, okay.
so I could be extra ready.
Mhm.
Canon let me take whatever I wanted off his computer. Because
What?
again, now I've known Don Cannon at this point 5-7 years. Because
Okay.
I met him when I was doing street team work. I used to help him carry his crates in the building.
Right.
Like our relationship started there. Like I can remember when I knew what track on what mixtape my shout out was on.
I know that's right. Yes.
I'm on like 28 grams, Gangsta Grills this. Like I'm getting shout outs on these because at one time when the affiliates were just getting started,
Mhm.
they shared the same office with Cloud9.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Even better, I'm gonna rewind back a little bit. One of my hustles was buying the mixtapes from Drama for $2 and selling them for $5. Because I'm getting the official version with the actual hard CD insert, not the copy shit from the flea market.
Right.
And this is before live mixtapes. So to all my friends that didn't do promotions, they had $5 for these mixtapes.
Facts.
So like
Facts.
when Drama say he missed the Thanksgiving because everybody eats, like that started back then.
Wow. I would have never. You're giving me a history lesson right now. You're giving me a real history lesson. So, and with that also being said, when you completed that first gig, what did you feel like after getting through it? And did you feel like you was like, okay, I did great, or did I bomb, or like how did you feel after
Um I was excited because it was my first gig.
it? Right.
But because it was the tent and what you build your first gig up to be, the tent wasn't,
Mhm.
I was a little bummed. Like, damn, I
Mhm.
want the action. Like, I got the DJ, I got the DJ at Big Party, but it's 2,000 people inside, and the tent is where the overflow's at. Like,
Right.
it's sections in the tent, it's nice, there's go-go dancers in the tent. This back when clubs did go-go dancers, but nobody was really in the tent. All the action was inside.
Right.
So it was an accomplishment feeling, but now I need to get on the real stage.
Right. Right.
So how do I come? Like it was one of those moments. Like I'm here. How do I get from here to there?
Right. Another one of those moments because you're every. It just seems like everything you have some type of positivity to pull out of that, if that makes sense. Like you're
Hmm.
always like, okay, well, if they can't do it, then I'm pretty sure I can do it, and I'm willing to actually learn. And not a lot of people have that ability these days. And also with that being said, how was your support system throughout this whole transition from you transitioning from Sears to promotion to graphic to now being a DJ? How was that?
I will say I was lucky enough to always get with good people.
Mm,
Like my homeboy Felix, who owns Gas House, at one point, like he's seeing me taking a liking to it. He see me putting the work, and he pulled me to the side and was like, "Yo, like, explain to me this DJ shit." Like,
right,
because now, mind you, I do his flyers, I did his website, I work the front door.
right,
I get a nice check for doing these things.
right,
What's your fascination with this DJ shit? Like, is this something you're curious about or something you want to do?
right,
And I was like, this is what I want to do. And he was like, all right, cool, do it. Like, put in the work. Like, as long as you put in the work, you'll always have a job here.
wow,
And this is the biggest club in Atlanta for a long time. Like space wise, Dreams Mansion was one of the biggest clubs was the biggest like size wise club in Atlanta
right,
10, 15 years.
right. Wow. He said you're always see now that's and that goes back to building relationships with people and how important is that to you? Because I know when it comes to this thing called entertainment, it's very important to me. So how important is that for you to build those relationships and keep those relationships in good standings?
Most everything I got in this industry was built off relationships.
Mm,
Like you have to like prior to me DJing, I believed you have to mean what you say what you mean.
facts.
Like this is before me even DJing. So in a world where everybody is smoke and mirrors and not men of their word or stand behind what they say, to people that do those things, it goes a long way with.
Yeah. Yeah.
So relationships are extremely important.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm. And let's get back to the DJ part. How did you even get the name DJ Teflon? Like who gave you that? Did you come up with it or how did it come about?
I'm gonna go back to my homie Don Cannon. So I'm DJing for about a year. Between just starting and now having a steady gig, I'm probably DJing a year.
Okay.
And I really don't have, because I'm thinking that all the good DJ names are stolen or used or
Right.
reused, and I don't really got a DJ name. And he was like, "Yo, like you serious about this? Like it's about time you have a name."
Right.
And
So you wasn't going by anything? Like you was just wow. Wow.
and this is gonna sound funny. I'm not good at it. I'm learning how to do this. Do I like what's more important, having a name or learning how to do it?
Right. Understood. Understood.
And with anything, like the best things don't just happen overnight. Like I figured as I did this, a name would come to me and that'd be it. I didn't want to pick a lame name and have to change my name.
Right. Okay. Okay. Gotcha. Gotcha. Mm.
And my real name is Teron. And me and Cannon was talking. He was like, because even better, I used to tell Cannon, like, niggas ain't as lucky as you. Your DJ name is your real fucking name.
Right. Okay.
His name is Donald Cannon. Like, and since he was a junior, Donald is his pops and Don is a junior. Your DJ name is your real name.
Right. Right.
Everybody's not that lucky.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
So I forgot how we got to Tehran, Teflon, and he was like, Teflon. And I looked it up. I looked at live mixtapes. Nobody had DJ Teflon.
Right.
And I was trying to spell it regular. And once I picked my name, I went straight to wanting a logo, and I picked the person who taught me how to do flyers. The person who taught me how to do flyers was ready to give up clubs anyway because he charged too much. Like
Right.
when I was telling you 125 to 150, he
Yes.
wanted 200 then.
Okay.
So when I went for logos, I went to him to do my logo, and he was like, "Yo, I like the name, but why don't you spell it this way so you can copyright it and own it?" So that's what we came with it that way.
The PH.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Wow. And then he came up with your logo and then it's just
That was
hits
my logo. I wanted something where I didn't look white or black. Like I didn't want nothing
Mm.
where you can look at it and be like, "Oh, that's a nigga."
I get it. I get it. You want it to be universal. You said, "Oh, that's a nigga." Yeah, I ain't
Because
even
even better,
lying.
if we fast forward further in my career, I've DJed for 2 colleges.
Oh, okay.
For like I've DJed for the University of Georgia and Georgia Tech.
Wow.
I didn't want to be pigeonholed to just black people or
Black.
black parties, so I wanted my logo to be different.
To be set aside from the others, because during that time, logos was what? It was just a black and white situation.
Yeah, and you can kind of tell what you or who you were behind who did your logo. So I wanted something real different.
Mm, mm. Okay, so, let's fast forward, I guess a couple of years. So, in 2008, you started, and then when did you know that this DJing thing was going to be the end all be all for you?
From the start.
From the start. Oh, okay. Okay.
I
You went
knew if
in
I
you
knew
went
I
into
knew
it.
I knew it was working ahead of me, but
Mm,
from the start I knew this was it.
wow.
From the start I knew I could do something cool and work for myself forever and be that, like I don't have to change who I am if I play
Mm,
this one right.
right. Did you feel like you had to do that with all your other positions you had? Or
No, entertainment you can kind of be who you are.
right.
So like DJing, I'm really like I know I committed not going back to work again, but I'm definitely not going back to work again. And now, mind you, I've been out of work 7 years now. But like DJing, I knew this was even better. If I play this right, I can change some people in my family's life.
You thought
I
about
just get,
longevity.
I just got to play. Now, mind you, I've watched my homeboys, Don Cannon, DJ Drama, all of them go from mixtape DJs to no longer DJing in the club.
Right.
And part of what catapulted them there was hard work.
Right.
So like, and I hate when people hit me with the Me Too attitude because they don't know what all is work involved.
Entails. Right.
But I knew to get there or to keep this where I wanted it, I was always gonna have to work hard, and I was cool with it because I was making $60,000 in my 20s doing collections,
Right.
and I wasn't working hard. If I put in half the work I did tricking them and out of getting their money to me working for myself, this should end up right. I just got to take the bumps in the road.
Right. Exactly. And never give up. For sure. Never give up. Never look back because all that is your experience and your resume that's happening, right before your eyes. Because once you're living in the moment, sometimes you don't have time to like really engulf in who you are and what you're doing. It's just all about like you got your blinders on. We about to get this thing popping. About to get this money. You have to make a change. So I get it. I definitely get it. So when did you become a cannabis connoisseur? Like when did that become a prominent thing in your life as well?
I've smoked pot since the age of 16. Like even better, like you know how when you write down your story,
Yeah.
how you would want something to work out, or if
Yeah.
it worked out in this, like me being attached to marijuana companies as much pot as I smoked throughout my life is a
Yeah.
dream because I know people smoke weed is longer than me and hadn't figured out how to get a legal dollar from it.
Mm. And shout out to Tucky. Tucky was also he was on the show. And speaking of legal, I just remember that he's owner of Blunts and More. So shout out to him.
Yeah,
And you
one of
guys
the
are
few black cannabis
yeah,
companies, period, and he's
yeah.
located in Oakland. He got the best location. Like he's literally crossed the street from the Oakland Coliseum.
Mm.
Like
That's
literally, and nobody likes the A's because A's kind of suck, but literally, that's where his location is.
wow. I gotta go out there and indulge. I gotta come to Atlanta too. So how okay, so you said you engulfed in it um ever since you
Okay,
can remember. And so just go I
all
guess
right.
talk a little
Here
bit
we
about oh go ahead,
here
go
we
ahead.
go.
Go ahead.
I told you the owner of the club who gave me my first
Gas
spot
house.
DJing. This is before Gas House.
Before gas house. Okay.
Weed is just like we all had went out to California and got our smoking card.
Okay.
So that's where the relationship with Burner started.
Okay. Okay.
This is Burner's rapping, but he's also working at a smoke shop. No,
Okay.
excuse me, not a smoke shop, the hemp center. But he's the guy to tap in when you come to the West Coast.
Right.
Like if you're from the East Coast and you're a rapper or in entertainment, if you can get to him, yeah, you go fuck with a Burner and get a little weed. He was
Right.
like the ambassador of weed back then. So let's see, how did this happen? Weed starts to become legal a few more places. Um, Again, I met Burner through Felix and Felix partner Phil, who passed away. But from
Mhm.
working at their club, now I've met Burner.
Right.
Burner was signed to Phil,
Okay.
um, and like he had just started cookies, like started the clothing brand cookies. Like the weed cookies was out there. Niggas was smoking it. Niggas was capping saying this cookies when it's not. Like this
Right.
is when cookies was just like everybody wanted to smoke cookies. Your
Right.
weed man was probably telling you he had cookies and it wasn't.
Mhm. Mhm.
But this is when Burner started the clothing line because that's where his play in that started. He licensed the name to do clothes and make it a lifestyle brand.
Okay.
So Burner has probably went on 2 tours right now. His DJ at the time, who actually got a good position in the cookies company now, was DJing and had a job, and the job wouldn't allow him to go to tour. So Burner wanted me to come, but it was like at the start of my career where I was just starting to get my gigs.
Your
And he
peak.
act not even my peak. I'm just starting to get my feet wet.
Okay.
Like I got my Saturday night gig, and I'm probably working 2 or 3 other nights a week. I'm
Okay.
just starting to like. This is about 3 years into my career. I'm just starting to move around just a little bit.
Gotcha.
And Burner was like, "Yo, it's not a big tour." And he's talking to the owner of Gas House at the time. This is even before Gas House. He
Before
was like,
gas.
"Yo, Fee, I need a DJ. I want Tef to come, but I don't know if I'm playing him with what I can pay him.
Mm.
And Fee was like, he'll be there.
And that was it.
And then came to me and was like, Burner was going on tour. He can't pay you but this, but you should go. And he was right, I should. I went.
And
My
what?
first tour, Burner paid me $100 a show. All my meals and stuff was free, but I
Your audio. He said, "Damn it, it's all good." He got to log back off and log back on. But until then, make sure you guys follow the podcast, MISS Hollywood 313, and follow the podcast, So Hollywood the podcast. If you're a popcorn lover, go to the bottom of the screen and click doing. Nope. And we're here. Go to the bottom of the screen, doing the world a flavor for the popcorn. Dope gourmet popcorn, black owned business, 480 flavors, not including the vegan options. Popcorn world, popcorn underscore world underscore. If you're looking to advertise here on So Hollywood the podcast, go to So Hollywood the podcast at gmail.com. Also, to be a guest on So Hollywood the podcast, just email So Hollywood the podcast at gmail.com or follow me on Instagram, So Hollywood the podcast, and MISS Hollywood 313. Oh, and if you guys need any advertising or any commercials for your business, as you guys can see, I have the whole setup and I do voiceovers. And shout out to Ramsey as well. He has a black owned comic book. So if you're interested in in purchasing that, that will be available on November the 4th. Teflon, you are up here. Give me just a second. Yes, and we're back like a matter of fact. Bars. Okay, go ahead.
my phone keep on ringing.
It's all good. You know, you're important. You're very important.
Some days, and then some days my phone don't ring at all.
It be dry.
Like a motherfucker.
So we were talking about when you met up with Burner and you all created or you were on tour with him and he only paid you $100 per
Yeah,
city.
100. But I think his set was probably 30 minutes, if that. So I mean, for what he got paid, $100 was cool. Like, I know what it goes into being someone's artist or just them going on tour.
Yeah.
I probably would have made that at home, but I wouldn't have experienced what I experienced, because that was also the year that we became legal in Oregon, Seattle. So
Wow.
like it was a good year for weed. So just being on tour with him and making connections in certain markets as soon as weed became legal goes a long way.
Of course. Of course. Now you had never been on a tour or any of that prior to.
No.
Okay. So soon after you did your tour, now how was that feeling? I know you said the experiences were dope and traveling. So how was that experience for you, being that it was your first tour situation?
Tour was dope because we were on the Smokers Club tour.
Ooh.
So headliner is Method Man, Redman.
Ooh.
Then it was Be Real from Cypress Hill.
Mm-hmm.
Then it was us.
Mm-hmm.
Burner and Be Real had just did or were about to do a project, so we shared the same bus. Wow. So just being on tour with a professional like Be Real.
Right.
Like, you got to think Cypress Hill's been touring 30, 40 years. Like,
exactly.
And touring all over the world. So I learned from Be Real to respect work like it's work.
Facts.
Don't be late to the gig.
Right.
Like, just the professionalism of treating this thing you do like it's the way you eat.
Right. Right.
You want to do this forever. You want people always to book you. You want your name to be good places. Treat this like you want to do this forever.
Mm-hmm.
These people are paying good money to have you, come sing some songs.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a cool experience. And then that's when I switched from blunts to joints.
Ooh, papers. Yes, sir, ski.
I haven't went back.
Mm-hmm.
The average person doesn't roll a joint because they don't know how.
Facts.
I rolled probably 80% of the joints on that tour. By the
So
time the
you
6 weeks
became the
over,
designated blunt joint roller. So that's what I'm talking about. you you be finding some shit, boy. I tell you.
nah, like, okay, first off, if you don't know who Be Real is and you smoke weed, kill yourself. And I don't even
Right.
talk in those terms. Like, this is the weed guru god, like one of the first people who get kicked off stage for weed. And I'm on a tour bus with all real weed heads, and nobody smokes joints. I mean,
Mm,
nobody smokes blunts. And even better, you can smoke all the all the joints you want on the bus, but no, take that tobacco shit outside.
right. Ooh. Ooh. Okay.
So it was like, yo, B, I'd like to learn. I don't know how to roll joints. He was like, oh, don't worry about it. By the end of the tour, you'll be good. And I rolled most of the joints on tour.
Wow. You go from not knowing to goddamn knowing because you closed mouths don't get fed on the boulevard. You understand me?
And
That's
even
what.
better, this is at the point where, and I remember like it's yesterday. I don't know how, like, before I went on tour,
Mhm.
everybody was smoking Dutch Master Palmers, the blue pack.
Oh my,
This
listen,
is this is where
let me
we're
tell
at.
you a Dutch story because you remember when you go into the store and then in the pack of the Dutch Master box it says send this in with your receipt and you'll get a full 100 a big box of Dutch Masters. Bro, me and my fiance, we used to buy that shit and fill that shit out and we used to get cases on cases.
Wow.
If I had them today, man, we had at least about maybe 10 cases. And it had
Wow.
100 in maybe 50 to 100, I think. I think it was 50. If you have per pack, you get up to 50. So man, that was my story. But go ahead. That shit was wild. When we found that
So
out, I was like, we in there.
this is right before hip hop went backward.
Oh, okay.
Because like,
Wee, honey.
if you can remember past 5 to 7 years ago, everybody didn't smoke backwoods.
Big facts. Big facts. Either zigzags or like you said, the Dutches or what else was it?
Swishers.
Yep, swishes. Yep. Yep.
Like, even better, I remember, I'd say 8 years ago, it was only two people I know who rolled backwoods, and they smoked backwoods because everybody didn't smoke backwoods, so they didn't have to share.
Ah, no, that's that's a really good idea.
And it's crazy. You fast forward 8 years later, and everybody loves backwoods.
Yeah. Yeah. That was my first I think that was my first introduction to real, like, really smoking is backwoods because that them veins in that motherfucker, that was harsh, and I don't even know how people can still smoke that shit. That shit is harsh. That's just a whole 'nother situation. But keep going, I'm sorry. I like to butt in when I
It's
can.
all good. So yeah, that was just a dope experience. All like just first to get out the city. Like,
Yeah.
I had worked so hard to try to be on in the city, but being on the road was something I really wanted to do. So just the experience of going places. If I went on tour at one time and never went on tour again, just the chance to go places I'd never say I would have went to. Like, who
Right.
goes to Albuquerque, New Mexico for vacation? Like, and there's no disrespect to Albuquerque. I enjoy Albuquerque. Albuquerque shows us a lot of love, but I never would have went there if I wasn't going on tour. If I
Right.
never went on tour.
Right. Wow. So in that time of touring, were you still in the clubs and were you still interested in that side of the DJ lifestyle?
Yeah, I,
Gas.
yeah, excuse me. I
Give me
knew
some
I
milk.
knew what kind of artist Burner was, so I knew I wasn't going to be on tour, but 6 to 12 weeks a year.
Okay.
So I still needed the club.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Yeah, I still needed the club, and then I also, until CDs went out of style, I did a lot of mixtapes.
Oh, okay. So talk about it, because I know you have something called The Other Guys, and which is DJ Ace and yourself. So talk a little bit about that as well. Shout out to the core DJs, because I'm a part of the core DJs as well.
I
Well, I'm
came
not
up
a
through the core.
DJ, but I'm a model. So
I
yeah.
came up through the core. Fucking shit. I ended up in the core because Tony used to do the core DJ retreats when they was in Atlanta. He used to do
Baby.
the after party at Mansion or Dreams,
Yep.
and
Okay.
he had did it a few times. And one time, Fee just pretty much told him like, "Yo, like you got a DJ and I got a DJ. Like you ain't. This is how this shit works. He's a
Right.
core DJ."
Right. And that was
And Tony was like, "Yeah, like by this time I've been DJing 3-4 years.
okay.
Tony's always doing something, an event at the club once a year, so that was almost put together by then." And
Wow.
I appreciate the core because it definitely let me look at it long term.
Yeah. Yeah.
The core is a great place to make people and make connections. Like with anything, is what you make out of situations.
Right. 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 It shows longevity. Because it's not just going in there as one thing, because when you do go in there as one thing, you leave with multiple, multiple streams of income, or multiple ways of doing things, and then on top of that, the experience itself, the conferences. If y'all haven't experienced the Core DJ conference, y'all are really losing. Like it's so down to earth, and it's just people everywhere, people that you wouldn't even think would be, in these environments. But it's really really dope. And in fact, they have one November the 5th through the 7th, if I'm not mistaken, in Raleigh, North Carolina. So make sure you guys follow the Core DJs. But yes, what was we talking about? Oh, so after coming up with the core DJs, and after, doing what you're doing now, what was the when did you create The Other Guys? And is that a mixtape, or is that like a group of DJs, or just you two DJs, or how? Just elaborate on The Other Guys. Uh-oh, your audio went out. Uh-oh. Not again. It's like every time we get to talking some good shit.
Can you?
Oh, there you go. There you go. Boom.
I, um, where was I? Okay, I'm doing a mixtape series called FYM. Fuck you mean?
Okay. FYM.
And I wanted another mixtape series to do with another DJ.
Okay.
Just so we could piggyback off each other. So my homeboy a chick introduced me Ace. And
Okay.
you know how niggas is, niggas don't want to meet new niggas.
Right. Right.
So when she introduced us, she was like, "Look, y'all will get along fine because neither one of y'all want to meet new niggas. But you my homeboy, and that's my homeboy." So she introduced us. So we hung out a couple times, and I was like, "Yo, I want to do a mixtape, and I want to call it The Other Guys." Because by then, like, I seen it so far early that moves was already playing. So like the other guys, I was just waiting to get with the right DJ to do the other guys with. Because I had another mixtape series with my homeboy Bistro,
Okay.
who DJ'd and was on the radio, called The Usual Suspects, and we did 2 of those.
Okay.
And he didn't want to do the other guys because he was like, "What are other DJs gonna think?" Like, you're trying to separate yourself. What are
Right.
other
Right. Right.
DJs gonna
Right.
think? So, and I respected that. So that's why we did The Usual Suspects. So when I asked Ace, like, "Yo, what do you think of the name The Other Guys?" He was like, "Run it."
Mm.
I was like, "Yo, you don't think we trying to say?" He was like, "Yeah, we are." And like, so I'm doing a FYM and The Other Guys every month.
Right.
And this is when CDs were still, people still needed CDs. So we used to charge people like $500 to be on the mixtape and
Mm-hmm.
use that money to buy physical CDs. So we're
Gotcha.
putting out 2,000-3,000 CDs a month, circulating them around Atlanta and the surrounding areas. And we are on like mixtape. We are on like 4 or 5. We probably been at it a solid year.
Right.
And we never got to hang out on the same night because we always was DJing.
Right.
And we went out one night, and niggas was like, the other guys, the other guys. And we was like, oh shit, it's a brand. Like, we went out that night and just was kicking the shit, and about 20 people called us the other guys. And that's when we was like, all right, that's really something. We on to something.
Right, right.
Cause like we used to do T-shirts and double cups and beach ball. Like we promoted ourselves as such, but you know, we just promoting the brand.
Right, right.
And it picked up. And then I end up being Burner's DJ. Now he's Jeezy's DJ. So
Wow. Do y'all
that's
still
how I
do
ended
that?
up on
Do
the
y'all still come?
verses.
Oh, really? What?
I don't know if you watched the Jeezy Gucci verses, but the first hour, the DJ that was banging, that was me.
What? That just blew my mind. I didn't know that.
And I'm gonna toot my own horn. Like the DJ who showed that you can really DJ, like if you can DJ, get it off.
Right.
Because I ended up DJing for way too long that day.
Right.
And the one thing the people from Apple was saying was, "Don't stop because we're not losing viewers."
Right.
You know when the DJ come on, the numbers go down.
Right. Yes. Yes. Yes.
I was getting screenshots like it's 1 million people watching, the 700,000 people watching.
How did you feel at that moment? Like when you saw those things happening, was this one of the biggest things that had happened in your life thus far, or was it just like, how did you feel? Tell me how you felt.
Now, mind you, I've DJed for 90,000 people at the University of Georgia football
Right.
games.
Right.
Though I was their DJ for 3 years, all sold out games.
Damn.
But by far, the verses was the biggest thing I've ever done, just because that was the most watched event last year, period, by far.
Yes.
And I'm not capping, like there's been articles that came out. That was the most watched event of 2020.
Yes.
And if you turned on at time at 8:00 when it started, I was there.
Gotcha.
That was me.
Wow.
I watched the recap and was looking for the comments about the DJ. I wanted to know.
Right. Right.
I didn't see not one bad comment about the DJ.
Wow. I bet you were like in La La Land for real.
We had to have COVID tests. I knew 2 days before, but I didn't tell nobody.
Okay.
Because I was like, just my luck. I make a flyer, I tell people, and I can't pass my COVID test and look like a lame.
Right. Right.
Because again, I know how to do flyers, so promoting yourself, that you never stop doing that.
Facts.
But just my luck, I promote myself, and the one thing that could happen to stop me happens, and I don't pass my test.
Right.
But I knew when everybody turned it on, once they figured out, it was gonna be like, wow. Like probably 10 minutes into it, my first text started like, yo, fam, is that you? Remember, the chair's in front of me so you can't see me.
Right.
So I'm just hitting my drops. I'm just hitting like this was before the DJ even had primetime location. If you remember the Gucci Jeezy video, versus both of the DJs was behind them.
Yes.
And behind that chair.
Yes. Yes.
Because even better, niggas is texting me like, yo, move over 3 steps. Because I'm hitting the one thing I'm doing is I'm hitting my drop. Before, even better, I didn't even know it was going to be cool to talk and shout people out.
Right.
Like, my job was to play for 10 minutes, 90 seconds of each song.
Right. Right.
It turned into a 45-minute set.
But you were prepared for either way.
I'm a professional. Like,
right.
it was
of course.
but this is supposed to be 10 minutes.
Right. Right.
Top 15.
45. Damn.
Again, the dude from Apple Music, or yeah, because it was Apple Music then, he was like, look, I need 90 seconds of each song. I need you 10, 15 minutes tops, and it's over.
Wow. And then you rocked it the whole
I
45
had a solid
minutes.
45 minutes with up to 1 million people on one. Like they said, that was like streamed by 18, 19,000. Excuse me, 1 million people.
Right.
Like that was really the most watched thing of last year. And if
Right.
you tuned in on time, I was that guy.
You're that guy. I'm gonna make you a drop that says you're that guy.
I like that.
DJ Teflon, you're that guy. I'm gonna chop it up and I'm gonna send it to you. He said, I like that. Instead of the other, well,
Like
you
think about
have
it.
the
Like
other
you didn't tell
guys.
nobody, and you know, hometown is watching, and your phone is
Yeah.
just going off because niggas is like, yo, fam, yep, that's you. Is that you? Yep, yep, yep.
That's
Even
my
better, I ended up having to shout on the microphone during the verses. I was like, yo, because my homeboy just kept on calling me.
boy.
And he was like, he's looking to see if I look down so he know it's me. But he don't call me back to back 3 times. I done lowered the music and told him, fam, I'll call you when I'm finished. Yo, Elo, I'll call you when I'm finished. He calls me the next day like, fam, you know how many niggas heard you shout me out?
A shout out goes a long ways. Trust and believe. Shout
Listen,
out.
let's go back to the mixtapes that I knew what number I was on.
Right.
Like when I got in the car with a girl, we riding around, I'm definitely playing number 7 because I know I get a shout out.
That was you. Ooh.
Yeah, they talk about me. How many niggas you know named Teron? That's me.
You took that shit and ran with it. I know that's right. Because I did the
So
same thing.
you're
And I
right.
still
Shout outs
do it.
go a super long way.
Yes, yes, and I love it. And just showing people, appreciation goes a long ways because a lot of people don't even like to do that. And like that's a whole nother ball game, which I don't want to get into. However, let's push forward to what you're currently working on. Do you still have the other guys, and or do you still
Yeah,
do mixtapes?
that's always gonna be a movement. Like
Okay.
it's funny right now. We're debating about making the other guys a DJ management company.
Ooh.
Everybody like from where we came to where we started to where we are now, everybody doesn't know how and want to know how. And it's something in teaching somebody how or helping you along the way and making me a little something off of it. So we go back and forth with making it a management company for DJs. Cause like between me and him, I don't want to throw a crazy number. Let's say we've gotten over 200,000 in endorsements just from
Right.
brands
Right.
over the last 6-7 years we've been to other guys.
Okay.
Other DJs don't know how to do that or know like how to position yourself. And even better, those checks can be bigger if we got 10 of the popping DJs across America under us.
Right.
But that also takes a whole bunch of hard work. So it's an idea we throw out there.
Yeah. I could see it happening. I definitely could see it happening. Cause just like you said, cause even artist development, that's kind of similar to, developing a DJ as well. And I don't even think that
Right.
that borderline exists anymore. So I definitely see that working in working in your favor and you all's favor. So you should think about that for sure. You should definitely throw that idea. Even going on tour, like teaching people how to like, the things to do, what not to do, and stuff like that. Because a lot of these, like you said, the DJs, or even the entertainers, they just don't know how to be, how to be that instead of like, oh, well, I got to do this. So it's a lot of confusion and whatever. But yeah, I think you guys should definitely do that, definitely. And anything else that you're working on right now? Any other mixtapes? Any other DJ spots that you're doing, or any tours soon?
Um,
Any
Burner has spot
campings?
dates that's coming up. I'll, I'm with him on those.
Mm-hmm.
I have a couple dates here and there that I got to do on my own in different places, but um, actually, I'm at that point where I am trying to figure out what's next.
Your next transition.
Yeah, like I'm in my 40s. I'm tired of doing
Mhm.
clubs. I do them on occasion because like how long are we gonna argue about the same $500?
Big facts. Big facts.
Like you've been paying me the same $500 10 years.
Yeah.
And and don't get me wrong, $500 for an opening or a closing gig is not bad money, but everything in life goes up. In
Facts.
every profession, there's an increase. DJs don't get cost of living increases. You're a line item, and I don't want to pay too much more than that for this line item.
Yeah. Yeah. DJs don't even have insurance. They health insurance like that. All that needs to come in fruition, or it's, just like who said it? Somebody, I think it was Noriega. He was like, we all need to have the culture needs to have um, like therapists that they can go to, or like accountants that they can go to, or somewhere that it's just like a whole group that's just about this thing called entertainment, if that makes sense. Like some people, they you
It,
don't
it,
have
it's
insurance, you don't have none of that. You know what I mean?
yeah, he's not lying because it's like even for, and I'm not a big you need to go to the therapist, but an entertainment therapist would understand rather than a regular, more better than because when you're basing your judgment off regular life and this thing called entertainment is nowhere near a regular life,
Mm.
you know, how can I trust your like not trust your judgment, but you could be giving me judgment based on something totally different than what I'm involved in.
Right. 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 Because the entertainer's mental is definitely important, and just being developed is definitely important, and it's definitely lacking as well. But so what is some advice that you could leave to this thing called entertainment?
Two things. Well, I'll say three things.
Hmm.
This shit ain't easy. And I'm gonna say it ain't for everybody. That's number one. Those two things I'm gonna keep together.
Okay.
Two, don't quit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Three, get you a side hustle.
Multiple streams of income. For sure. If you gotta be the best
Like
blunt roller, be the best blunt roller you can ever be, but you gonna get paid for it. For
like
sure.
I call like one of my homeboys told me, I don't know if you're familiar with the website ATL Picks.
Yes. Yes.
I've known Prince for a long time, the dude who runs ATL Picks.
Mhm.
And one thing he told me, he was like, Tef, you come from the kind of guys who don't like their picture taken.
Mm.
Like this is when he first started, people thought he was the feds.
Right. Okay.
Why you want my picture? Why you want to
Right.
put my picture on the website?
Right.
And he pulled me aside. He was like, "Yo, you serious?" He was like, "Yo, whether it's my company or somebody else's company, get your picture took in DJing.
Mm.
Make sure whoever company it is take a picture of you DJing. The more people see it, the more people will believe it. People look at the pictures every time you do a party. Get your picture took in DJing.
Mm. And you did it.
It's free advertising. You on the website 3 times a week looking for your picture. You know me, but it's like, oh, this nigga really DJs. Like
Right.
the last 4 party pictures I pulled, he was really the DJ.
Right. Right. Right.
It starts to embed in people's heads that you're doing this
Right.
subconsciously.
Real.
Every time they turn around, they see you doing it somewhere.
Right. Right.
And again, I started DJing before Instagram.
Right. Word of
The
mouth.
picture website was real important.
For sure. Because I
Matter
think
of fact, I
we
started
had some
DJing in
here.
MySpace days.
Oh shit! You telling your age now? It's all good. As long as you stuck by it, I'm gonna stick by him too. That's mine.
That's where the don't quit come from.
Big facts. Because also, just even if you have to go back and humble yourself, like not a lot of people can say they slept on the floor because they went out of town and was handing out CDs, or you know what I mean. just be as humble as you possibly can as well, because this thing called entertainment will chew you up and spit you the hell out at any minute. So be mindful of that. And so with that being said, is there anything else that you would like to leave us with? Because we're going to move forward to our top 5, and then if you have any
Exclusive access.
any exclusivity of like a release date or anything that you can give us and let us know, you can do that. And then we're going to go with our shout out, social media, and last but not least, the question of the day. So we're going to push forward to our top 5. If you don't have anything
Okay.
else. All right. So top 5 DJ gigs.
Mm. Phew. Top 5 DJ gigs, like just gigs that okay, even better.
Yes.
Fourth, it was 421. I forgot what year it was. It was at Red Rock in Denver. It was Snoop, Wiz, Cypress Hill, Burner, and Afro Man showed up. And if you know anything about like venues, Red Rock is just one of the coolest venues, period, in Colorado.
Okay.
My whole 3 years at UGA.
Okay. UGA.
90,000 people each time.
Ooh.
And this is not really in no particular order.
That's fine.
My 2 seasons at Georgia Tech.
Okay. So is that considered 2 or is that considered 1 together?
2, I'll count them separately because I like both of them for different reasons. Like Georgia, it was just a big production.
Gotcha.
But I was the guy who played the music.
Okay.
At Tech, it was way smaller production, but I was DJ TEPHLON's Tech's DJ.
Wow. Okay.
And it's a different in those, or how those are held.
Understood.
We're gonna say my first party BET weekend.
Okay.
And then there was a BET weekend, Rick Ross, Puff Daddy.
That was money.
And I think I might have made a name for myself that night.
Wow. Shout out to you. And shout out to Snoop. I want to say that as well because he just recently lost his mother. So rest in peace to Snoop Dogg's mother. And also let's push forward. Top 5 strains you live by.
Gas House Pluto.
Okay.
Matter of fact, I don't want to say them twice, but I don't, because I like Pluto and I like Granddaddy Perp. They Granddaddy Pluto. It's Granddaddy Pluto. Those I fuck with those. Matter of fact, we're gonna give those 2 separate entries.
Okay.
I like Gary Payton.
Oh, he just dropped that, didn't he?
But I want it from Kenny Powers, the one who originated the strain.
Okay. Okay.
I want his secret sack that he still grows at the house or wherever he grows his little situation that he smokes on personally.
Mm-hmm.
I want his.
Okay.
I'm fucking with the Bernie Honda butter. There's a new strain Burner got out. I'm fucking with Bernie Honda butter. That's high on my list.
No pun intended.
And limoncello. The people from Passion They Grow, I fuck with them. They grow great weed. So matter of fact, we're just gonna put those as anything they grow.
Okay.
But it has to be from them. Like I don't even want it out the dispensary. I want it out their private sack. Like it's nothing better than running into your grower friend and they reach in their bag and be like, yo, take that with you. I like those.
Yeah, I like those. Here, go on and let me know how that smoke right there.
Yeah, I love it when it's like call me in a couple weeks and let me know how you like it.
Yeah.
And they give you enough to smoke on it in a couple weeks.
Man.
Perks of being Burner's DJ.
I know, right? Shout out to that because I believe it or not, I wanted to get my own strain, and I know it takes a lot. At least somebody said at least $250,000 to get it all like together. I think it was Tucky. I think he was saying that's the bare minimum that you may have to have, like with the growing process, find the seeds and knowing the H2O and all this other stuff. So but I am in the process because Virginia just legalized it. You can grow up to 4 plants, and I think you can carry up to like an ounce. And they don't do the stop and search, which is like the smoke. Like if they smell smoke, they don't stop you anymore because Virginia is a commonwealth. But yeah, I want my
I'm
own.
totally familiar with, and even better, I'm totally familiar with Commonwealth means. Possession less than an ounce can be a slap on the wrist for you and 10 years in jail for me. So, yeah, Commonwealth state means they make the laws up as they go along.
Mm. Yeah, this is it's bad out here sometimes because but yeah, but the legalized part is here, but I can't wait till they start like really legal. They said 2024 I think would be the soonest you can get like a dispensary or something like that here in the Virginia market.
Okay.
But I am growing mine, so Hollywood Lights will be be out there
I
soon.
like that name, Hollywood Lights. That's groovy.
Yay! Yep. So that's gonna be great. So let's do this. Top five. Well, you said you haven't been on too many tours, so that was a question. Top 5 tours you've been on, but
I've probably been on 5 or 6 tours. I mean, they were all burner tours, just different
all
tours.
burner tours. Okay. So we'll just do 5 burner tours. Okay. So last one is top 5 moments in your career.
Versus number one.
Of course.
Um, the first time I did Rolling Loud with Burner, all my DJ homeboys who had did Rolling Loud, and we just never did Rolling Loud. It was like on the list of things to do.
Right.
Um, the first 420 where I got an hour with 8,500 stoners.
Ooh.
It was Burner's first big 420, and I opened and I got an hour to myself with 8,500 people. That was
Were
pretty
you
groovy.
smoking? What do you smoke
Absolutely, the
while you
whole time.
DJ?
Yeah, it's part of my set. Like I
Okay.
don't call myself the highest DJ on the planet because I smoke a lot of weed. I'll dab mid set.
What? Now that is something that I have never tried. Dab. But what? You dab during the middle of
Yeah, I'll dab during the middle of the
You're
set.
a
Like I
real
get high.
smoker. You're a real smoker. Like if
Like
you could you stop today if you wanted to?
I
Or
don't even like to think like that.
okay, my my bad. Let me not put that out there.
That's something I don't even want to think about.
Understood. Understood. Damn. So you got 2 more moments in your career, top 5. 2 moments.
The 420 where I had my own dressing room.
Ooh.
It was enough extra rooms and to be funny. Burner's manager at the time, Will Bronson, who
Mhm.
actually Will manages Run the Jewels also. He gave me my own dressing room. Like I had my name on it. He was like, "Yo, Tef, look," and I really had my own dressing room, with my own name on it.
Aw, how was that?
And then probably my first basketball game at UGA because I started basketball first.
Okay.
I was I did women's basketball, then women's men's basketball, and football the following season. But just my first game was my introductory to it. I was super nervous, and yeah, it ended up working out pretty cool.
Mm. All right. Well, shout out to the top 5. Let's move forward to our exclusive access. Do you have any exclusivity that you can give our guests and our friends? Because once I do an interview with you or with the guests, we're friends now. So do you have any exclusivity that you can release to the world?
Exclusive access.
Mm-hmm.
Um, my Teflon case is coming soon. The pre-roll is for people who like the pre-roll to hold you a couple pre-rolls in it.
Now, talk a little bit about the pre-rolls. Like, what is the significance of having pre-rolls?
Okay, I pre-roll mine for the day before I put lotion on. I don't want the oil from my fingers on my papers. I don't want my papers tasting like my lotion.
Right. Wow.
So for me, I need something to put pre rolls in. I really like, even for work. I roll up a hard five. I'm definitely rolling up one an hour, or I'm rolling up one for each hour. So, and then maybe one or two extras just in case you don't know how to like go. So I'm usually leaving the house with a hard five.
Now, are you still smoking with other people?
Um, I'm
And
I hang out with a whole bunch of
are
rosters. So
those pre-rolls, are you handing some of those out too? Are you, instead of like giving
if I gave it to you, I probably don't want it back.
understood. Okay. Okay. Because that's some things that
I'm gonna
smokers
smoke it to a point where I don't want it no more, and then you can have it.
gotcha. Gotcha.
It's still scary times. Let's be responsible.
Right. Because not to mention, I don't know if people actually think about it, but when you're actually rolling a blunt, the amount of saliva that goes on to the actual blunt, and then you about to just like you people never really think about it. You be like, damn, that nigga just. I'm like,
I
what?
used to think about it back when I rolled blunts. Like, fam, why you making out with the blunt while you rolling?
Like, like, what are you doing? Like, oh, I just
That's one of the best things I like about joints. Like, you don't even have to lick it. You can
big
run
facts.
your finger with some water on and then
Big
roll it up.
facts. And then they also have the blunt roller, the easy peasy. Put that bitch in there, put your material in there, just roll it up. Man, that's the best thing since sliced bread. My fiance got one. I'm like, man, this is I've been slacking my whole life. Like, where's this been? But let's move forward to our shout out, social media, and last words. So you can go ahead and give your social media shout outs and anything that you want to leave the folks.
I'm gonna shout out just all my stoners.
Yes.
Like, I appreciate being a part of your world. Like, it's groovy. I like it. I've learned over the years that is a difference between smokers and stoners.
Tell us the difference. Tell us for those that.
Um, a smoker smokes. Like, a stoner is into their weed and who grew it, and like, it's not. I just don't smoke a lot of weed.
Right. Right.
Stoners might dab. Stoners might take edibles. Like, they're into all the ways to,
All facets
you
of
know,
the
to
cannabis.
ingest their reefer.
Ooh. Do you prefer edibles or do you prefer flower? Like, okay, so yeah, that's another thing. What do you prefer? Do you prefer
Flower.
okay.
Flower first, dab. You can keep your edibles.
Yeah, edibles, it's like drinking alcohol at that point. When you eat an edible, it's like no way of coming down. It's no it's like you can drink all the water you want, but it's no way of like breaking that high because you've already
That
eaten
and
something
then
sweet and you're high.
and in this day and time of everybody being home chemist, I don't trust you to give me the right dosage across the board.
Big facts. Big facts. They don't take into consideration. They're just
There's
like,
a lot
okay,
of real home chem. There's a lot of new home chemists. There's people who's making edibles who never smoke weed because we were in the house like all that. Just give me my flower. Let me roll it up and smoke it.
I know that's right. I have to come down to Atlanta and partake because you guys have the best smoking sessions in life. You guys will just have a whole what is it? Just a whole building that's empty, and then y'all put like a few chairs and tables, and maybe even have vendors, and y'all just go there and smoke. And I'd be like, where can I find this at here in Virginia? Because it's
Not
just
in the Commonwealth state. No, sir. Like, that only can take place in states where the laws are structured.
mm,
I
mm.
know what I'm getting myself into if I say I'm gonna do this. I, all I know, if I do it in Virginia, I'm getting in trouble.
So don't trust it. Don't trust it at all,
Yeah, because,
y'all.
like, for example, I ride around with possession less than an ounce every day.
Mhm.
In the city of Atlanta, that's a $75 ticket. I'm cool with getting caught with my weed in the car.
Okay. Understood. Understood.
I know what comes along with my little habit or having my medicine or whatever you want to call it.
Mhm.
I know what comes along with that.
Right. Right. And one final question. How important is it to have your medical card or what's the background with that portion of the cannabis industry?
It varies from state to state.
Okay.
Like different states have different qualifications to get it. Um, if you're a weed smoker and it's only medical in your state, I say get it.
Mm.
Now you have a reason to have it and ride around with it. And I'll always lean on the side of no ticket than ticket or longer interaction with the police.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So it's very beneficial at the end of the day for those that
Yeah.
okay. Okay. Because I think we're able to even get that. They're offering that. But like everything is new. So I don't know what to believe and what, I mean, you got to do your research. But well, we are coming to a close, and I have one final question for you, which is the question of the day. What bothers you about the industry, and what would you do to fix it? Or what would your solution be to fixing it?
Um, I don't know what to do to fix it, but it just seems like it's kind of out of control. It's everywhere.
Yeah.
Like before, it used to be, and I don't even know if it's a bad thing, but it was a certain way that you put out artists. It was a certain way you did this. It was a certain way you did that. Now it's kind of anything can make it happen, so people are doing anything, and that's a good and bad thing.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. For sure. Damn.
So yeah, like that's and I don't know how you change it because I don't want you to stagnate anyone's creativity, but in doing everything, some bad things get done too.
Right. Right. All right. Well, I appreciate it. And thank you for even being a guest on my podcast, So Hollywood the Podcast. Shout out to all the stoners, shout out to all the reefer heads, because I love reefers just as much as everybody does. And yeah, without further ado, we're gonna get up out of here. Is there anything else that you would like to leave our guests? If not, we gonna close this thing out.
Nah, I appreciate you having me.
No, but I mean, shit. When I saw you on Instagram, I was like, man, I gotta get him on the show because, just having a conversation and just your knowledge of just being, a DJ and outside of that, doing other things is really really dope. So, people need to know your story, where you come from, where you're going, and so on and so forth. So this is just one of those platforms that just allows all of that. So,
Nah, I
smoke
appreciate
a
it
big
because
one
like
for me too.
people be congratulating me like, yo, OG and legend. And I don't feel like I've done my greatest move yet,
Mm.
but I understand just surviving. Everybody's not able to. So like it used to take me by surprise, but I've weathered the storm a little while, so I can understand.
Mm.
So like stuff like this, like like to allow me to tell my story because it wasn't easy.
Yeah. Yeah. 'Cause you definitely came from the bottom, now you're here. And you built relationships on top of that. So that's another thing. That's the last thing I'm gonna say is continue to build your relationships, continue to know your
Absolutely.
value, know your worth, and put forth the effort. Because if you don't work, nobody else is gonna work as hard as you, and nobody should be working as hard as you if it's something that you
True
want.
story.
So keep it up. I really appreciate you. Definitely keep in contact with me. Like I said, we're friends now. And
We
so
definitely are.
so we're gonna definitely do this again when your case, is it a hard case? That's what it is, a hard case.
It's metal.
Okay, when the metal case comes out and we can, I'm if possible, if God willing, I'll come out there and I'll sample my own and give you a unboxing. so to
Say no. I mean, it's just a case, so I'll make sure you get some.
Oh, for sure. For sure, for sure. I
Like you
appreciate
said, we're
it.
friends now, so I'll make sure when they drop, because
Here,
I'm
try
waiting on
this.
the order to come in. I'll make sure you get some.
I appreciate that. But until next time, everybody, thank you guys for tuning in to So Hollywood the Podcast across the board. I'm on Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Catch the latest episode and catch the performance of So Hollywood the Podcast presents The Green Room on my YouTube page. Until then, I appreciate you. We're gonna get up out of here, play my theme song, and we out this thing like a chicken wing on a string. Bars.
Later.
Peace up, A-Town down.
Is it me or is it hot in here?
Hey, is it me or is it hot in here? Shout out to DJ TEPHLON. Shout out to everybody tuned in across the board. It's your girl Marquita, aka Miss Hollywood, and I am signing off. So Hollywood, the podcast. Until next time, holla when you swallow. Yeah.